The Prinx Tires USL Cup kicks off next weekend and has Fort Wayne FC traveling to play Louisville City FC in Lynn Stadium, the model for Ruoff Mortgage Stadium here in town. But before we get to that part of the conversation, we've invited Brett Mullenix from KitSZN to talk about Fort Wayne FC's new home kits.
It's your weekly fix of Fort Wayne FC news, reactions, analysis, the stories that matter. We celebrate the game. We elevate the conversation. This is Fort Wayne Footy.
Hey, Fort Wayne. Welcome to another episode of Fort Wayne Footy. We are excited tonight because we all dress the same, first of all. I don't know if you don't get a chance to watch us live because you listen, later in the week or whatever, but it's something to see the three of us on screen, all dressed in the same kit. It's like it was going to be a topic of conversation tonight or something. And so we all had to run out and get ours. But no, we're excited tonight. We do get to talk about these new Fort Wayne FC home kits. As you heard in the intro, we've got a special guest joining us who specializes, he's an expert in knowing all things kits in USL everywhere and MLS and everything. So we'll bring him on here in just a few minutes. But let me introduce the team that we're working with tonight. Dustin Diller is here with us. Dustin, how are you feeling, man, in your new fresh threads there?
Feeling good. We were there at the reveal. It was an awesome event and great time with the guys. And so excited to get the new. I mean, we talked about it a couple weeks ago, the black kits that we were hoping was going to happen, and lo and behold, here we are.
Here we are. Yeah, it was a fun night to be a part of. We can maybe get into that here in just a minute, but don't want to forget about Anthony and Zini joining us also in his Fort Wayne FC home black kit. How's it feel wearing those new threads, Anthony?
I love it. It feels good, Brian. It's nice to finally have it for the first home game. We'll have that ready for it. So yeah, it's great. I like it.
Yeah. We'll get into all the details of this kit here in a few minutes because there's a lot to it, and it was everything. I'll just say this: it was everything I had hoped for in a kit that we talked about preseason, right? Something black, something with a little subtle pattern, with some, the autumn gold highlights. And so, yeah, I was really excited about it. So we'll get into that in just a moment. My name's Brian. I didn't introduce myself. If you're new to the show, I'm here each and every week, hosting Fort Wayne Footy. And we've also started a second show, the 260 Soccer Show. So if you live in Fort Wayne, if you're in the surrounding area, Northeast Indiana, the 260 Soccer Show is picking up all the other soccer content in the area that we can't cover here on Fort Wayne Footy. And so we will just encourage you to bounce over there. They stream live on Sunday nights at 9 p.m. in our old time slot as we moved here to Monday nights at 9. And had a great guest last night. We'll play a clip from that show a little bit later in Andrew Bigelow, an MLS pro assistant referee. Crazy guest to get for your second episode ever. So we're excited about what is going there. If you want to support and connect with us, Patreon's a great way to do that. Visit us at Fort Wayne Footy on Patreon. There's all sorts of opportunities to join us there at $2 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month. Or if you just want to see what's there and what's possible, there's a free option as well. Join us over on Patreon and help support what we do here at Fort Wayne Footy and the 260 Soccer Show to cover soccer and bring you the stories that matter here in Fort Wayne. Guys, as always, we like to kick off our show with a segment called Cheers and Jeers. And, these are things that we got excited about this last week in the world of soccer, and maybe some things that could have gone a little differently if we had our wishes. Anthony, kick us off. Your cheers and jeers, my friend.
Yeah, cheers. Man, St. Charles 7th and 8th grade girls team. Okay, I am currently volunteering as much as I possibly can with them. Having the club team right now makes it pretty tough in the spring. And if you haven't ever experienced a CYO compressed season in 2.5 weeks, you don't know what soccer's about. I mean, this thing's crazy. But look, we haven't won a game yet. We're still looking for that first goal. Okay, I think Wednesday's the day that we get that goal. But it's just been a blast. Totally different environment than the travel side. So it's just been fun. It's kind of been a breath of fresh air. It's awesome. Then the jeers, I had my Saturday game with my team got canceled with the weather. So that, bummer for everybody that had to deal with that. But yeah, it's, it is what it is. It's a spring soccer here in Indiana. So nothing too crazy.
Yeah, we joked last night, like spring soccer, you should carry. Dustin doesn't. I remember this from a few years ago when our kids played together. You carry your winter coat, you carry rain gear, you carry sunglasses, sunscreen, you carry boots, you carry, flip-flops. You never know what you're going to need on a Sunday afternoon soccer match at Grand Park or up here in Fort Wayne at one of our fields, right? You just never know. And sometimes you show up in a light jacket and it's 12 degrees outside, right, Dustin? That ever happened?
That happened one time, Brian, and I will not live it down. And I've never done it since that time. So
all right, Dustin, I'll pass it to you then for your cheers and jeers.
Yeah, so for my cheers, we talked about it a little bit, but the event that they had for the jersey reveal last Wednesday was pretty amazing. Not only just the kit, but every time that we interact with the players and we get to go to one of these events and we have interviews with them or talk to them, or this last time we talked to a wife of one of the players, like just stuff like that. It's just amazing to hear the excitement that they have, the passion that they have for this team. And so it was a blast. We had a great time. I think our medallions that we gave out were huge hits. Thank you, Brian, for designing and putting them together. I think that they really appreciated it. So yeah.
Yeah, that was a ton of fun. I don't want to cut you off from your jeers, but to jump in on that, that event was awesome. It was great. It's fun being in the position that we are, covering the team, supporting the team. Like the players came looking for us. Like we didn't have to chase anybody down, and it was just fun having those conversations, being able to build those relationships and to see that they appreciate, what we're doing and what we're covering. And we appreciate what they're doing on the field to bring professional soccer to Fort Wayne. So there was a couple of guys late that we didn't get a chance to talk to because we were doing interviews and stuff that came up and they were like, I thought you weren't going to say hi. And so that was fun even to, see they waited around to come over and say hello. So that was a good night.
My son, my youngest, was excited to get a picture with Celise, and so it's probably one of the funniest pictures I've ever seen. How tall he is and how short my son is. So that was awesome. But so that was my cheers. I will say I'm piggybacking off of what Anthony said, but the weather in Indiana has been nasty, and so we also had a doubleheader on Saturday canceled for travel, but let's just hope that we get a season in. I feel like every year the last thing you want to do is drive 2 hours away in July to play a game because of how the weather's been. So
and this isn't even travel ball, right? You're talking PDA, right? For the youngest?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah. It's a condensed season anyway. And now it's even more when the season probably should be over. So
right.
Yeah.
Yep. So those are mine.
All right. Yeah, the weather impacted a ton of games this weekend here in Fort Wayne and surrounding areas, I know, but we played our games down at Grand Park as part of the Crossroads of America showcase down there. And so, it was fun. That actually plays into my cheers. We actually played outside on Friday, played outside on Saturday when it was so cold and rainy and windy, and then nice sunny day on Sunday. We played on Field 1 indoor there at Grand Park. So, but cheers to my son's team, who won a really strange match, quite honestly, against a team that knocked them out of first place in the division on the last game of the season last year. It was a game that was rough. It was physical. It was mouthy. It was dirty last year. And so we anticipated that going in this time. And it was rough. It was physical. It was mouthy. And there might have been a winning goal scored by a handball. I don't know that, but that's what it looked like. So it was a weird kind of game with calls going strangely different directions, but came out in our favor. So that's my cheer. My jeers is and it's not really a jeer, but I had to come up with something. Spent 16 hours in a car this weekend. 8 on Friday alone, to and from Indy for a game, and then to and from Mishawaka for my other son's volleyball game in a conference tournament, and then 4 hours, to and back on to Indy and back on Saturday, and Indy and back on Sunday because we didn't get a hotel because we didn't know how long the volleyball tournament was gonna continue on. So, so I would do it again in a heartbeat, but 16 hours in the car in 3 days to always end up in the same spot, like we weren't even traveling to Florida, like it's a lot. So anyway, there's our cheers and jeers. We have a couple in the chat here that I wanted to throw up here from Dwayne, who's always with us. He made the trip over to Fort Wayne to work with Three Rivers Regiment, swung by the stadium for the first time in a long time, and he was amazed at how far it has come along. Like, Dustin, you and I, on that note, we're talking just beforehand about the pictures Mark Music had posted, the aerial photos of the stadium. Talk about that for just a minute. I didn't get a chance to grab it and show it, but
yeah, it was pretty awesome to see. It looks like the turf is in, looks like it is completely installed for the whole pitch, and then they have maybe half the lighting up, and so they got a really cool picture from above of like half the stadium lit up, and then they had one from kind of a little bit further away that had some of the lights on the outside that were showing up too. So it's just exciting to see. I mean, a week ago we didn't even have lights. We didn't have turf and we didn't have lights. Now we have turf and we have at least 50% of lights. So that's pretty awesome.
So you're saying we're going to play there?
I
May 2nd.
Firmly believe we're playing there. I mean, I have my tickets, so I'm planning on whether they play there or not. I'm sitting in the seat. So
I love it. Christina's back with us. She's awake tonight. I think she fell asleep last Monday. Hey, how are you? Her cheers. She got a chance to catch up with Bernd at the event. Love to hear that he finally moved on to try some better places than BJ's Brewhouse as his go-to place in Fort Wayne. Love to hear that. Let's see. We've got the new pictures. A couple people have mentioned those that you just talked about. So check out Fort Wayne FC on social media, and their pictures they posted. They're beautiful. The evening, like the stadium at night. I never would have thought we would have had a picture of a stadium at night, soccer stadium here in Fort Wayne, and it's beautiful. I love seeing it. So anyway, we are going to thanks for participating. Right. In the cheers and jeers, we're going to bring in our guest here, Brett Mullenix. Brett, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great this evening, trying to survive the Indiana weather as much as y'all. So.
Yeah. We were down your way out of Indianapolis this weekend, as you heard. Just so by way of introduction, Brett is host of KitSZN, it's under the umbrella, I believe, of the USL Show. We had Kaylor on here preseason a few months ago from the USL Show. Brett's part of that. KitSZN is a show where you look at kits, you grade kits all across American soccer, and so love it for that reason. And also writer for Protagonist Soccer and Beyond the 90s. So Brett's got his hands full, and he's super busy in the world of soccer. Brett, what did I miss? What does our audience need to know about you?
Yeah, you pretty much nailed it on the head there. My wife appreciates me never having time for her. But at KitSZN, we've done this now for 5 seasons. It was kind of a brainchild between Taylor and I. We saw a need. We thought it'd be fun. I have a massive collection of kits all across the lower leagues. And we saw something that could be really fun while he was redoing, the USL Show. And so in our 5 seasons, we have rated to date 525 kits. And we have, last I checked, another 80 to go for this year alone. And League 2 and W haven't even released all theirs yet. So probably another 100 by the time this is done. But yeah, I co-host with my friend Philip Fox out there in St. Louis. We all kind of met doing EUSL back in 2020, 2020, I think it was. And we all kind of bonded to this cool little thing. 5 years later, here we are having a blast and now rating 500 kits and now celebrating Fort Wayne, having a professional team, which is its own thing. So But yeah, and then I also write a little bit for Beyond the 90, covering my hometown team, Indy 11. And then Protagonist, where I kind of talk kits, but not just USL, kind of wherever I can.
Yeah. And for those who aren't watching live, Brett is wearing the Fort Wayne Legacy kit. Can we say that? From last season, the 2025 kit, the light blue with the white shoulders and the red and the blue stripe down the left side through the crest there. So representing Fort Wayne FC and USL 2. Like to see that, Brett. That was a fan favorite kit, and I think a lot of fans that will show up at the stadium still wearing blue, hoping that they would go back to blue.
I know. No, I was hoping when they were doing a rebrand, just a little hint of an accents the blue would have stayed for us, because I think this was such a good looking kit. I think they finally nailed it on what that Fort Wayne look was supposed to be with these colors. It's unfortunate, but.
Yeah, one of the things that they said, and Dustin and I were at the brand reveal party. We did a live show from there. Dustin and I did. And one of the things they said there was, you look around USL League One and there's a lot of blue and there's a lot of red, and they wanted to stand out and do something different. And I went, for that reason alone, I love the new colors, the new rebrand, because we had Ryan Smeltzer, who you may be familiar with, is in our chat here tonight as well. He and I did a show ranking crests of teams in maybe last year, heading into USL League One season, Fort Wayne's first season here. And we were like, there's a lot of blue here. There's a lot of blue. Like you're not going to stand out. And so obviously a very different color, very different crest moving forward. And it's been met with mixed reviews here in Fort Wayne.
I'd also even say your in-state rival, Big Brother, I don't know how to say, Indy 11's also red, white, and blue. So you can't even stand out from an in-state competition. So
and I mean, maybe I'm a little biased, but I'll say already, like, these kits are better than their kits this year. But maybe we'll talk about
I agree.
Well, before we get to specifics of the Fort Wayne kit, Brett, what makes a good soccer kit?
Yeah, and generally it is 4 things that we really think really make a kit look good. It is authentic. I will be there. So it is authentic storytelling. What are you trying to sell for your club? Is it like, are you trying to be, professional? Are you trying to be authentic to your community? What is the story you're trying to tell? And if you can convey that accurately in your kit, great. Does it actually fit well, and does it look neat? It doesn't have a weird sash that cuts off 75% of the way and has too big a space for brand. Does it actually all fit together? And then is it true to who you are as a brand? Is it, hey, we like to be traditional at home and then a little chaotic on the secondary or alternative kit? Is it, like Forward Madison, they like to be chaotic, a little bit more fun, a little bit more flavorful, but they still have their sash. Do they continue their brand going forward? Which is why I think it's important for Fort Wayne in establishing that year one. That's hard to backpedal or build off of however you start. And then lastly, is it innovative? Is it something unique? Is it just another template you got from Adidas or a Puma, as I'm rocking here, or Under Armour or Capelli or whoever? Is it something I've seen 1,000 times or once?
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. As I look at kits, right. Sometimes teams, and I've been a part of watching teams, their first year of something, right? So Fort Wayne FC's first year in USL 1, other Major League Soccer teams that cannot be named anymore on the show by our supporters that have been watching them move up the league and making a splash or not with their first kits, right? In the other situation, watching the kits that were released, it was like, we had better kits in USL than we do in Major League Soccer. Different brand, right? And so brand plays a big part of it, right? And so I was anxious to see, Fort Wayne, how is it going to be? And we got the away kit early. It was all gold, maybe a little underwhelming in design. And then we have this one that is quite a bit different, right? And so maybe didn't make a splash with the first one, made a big splash, at least so far, with this one, which we'll talk about. I'm going to pass it to you, Dustin. I know you got a couple questions for Brett as we move into the Fort Wayne FC kit specifically.
Yeah, so before we get into Fort Wayne FC, so why are kits in general becoming such a big part of fan culture in the United States?
Yeah, I think there's two reasons. One, I think particularly in soccer, which is very unique in the sports landscape, and you're starting to notice more happening in baseball, NBA, and even the NFL are catching on to this. They're more creative. They're more fun. They're more toned into especially at this level, it's more toned into your community. It's not just, hey, it's Indiana, like the Indiana Pacers. Yeah. It's Fort Wayne. It's Madison. It's Portland, Maine, of all places. They have their own community represented via kit. And then two, I think and then number two is I think they just look good, and people realize how well they look good. And as Taylor always used to point out to us, a lot of people have gone with the designs that look good with a pair of jeans, or if it's a nice polo collar, you can still wear it to the office. So it has a sponsor up front. It's something you can wear all the time, and they just fit better.
Yeah, for sure. Let's specifically the Fort Wayne kits, right? Let's talk a little bit about Fort Wayne there. We've seen the away kits now 4 times. We've seen that plus the kit reveal, right? So 5 times we've seen it. When you saw those, we were talking about maybe doing a show together then, and we were like, well, let's hold off. Let's wait until the home kits get revealed. So first impression of the away kits before we get to these new fresh home kits.
One of the things that I mentioned was establishing the brand, especially as an expansion and in a rebrand. You're setting up your brand going forward, and I love the use of the color, that autumn gold. It just doesn't set up anything other than it used the color, and I think that is the most disappointing part. Because you saw with the home kit, they added in some detailing, which we'll get into, which adds a little bit to it. This was just, hey, that's our color. Boom. And it got the expected result from the fans, and I think from most people outside of even Fort Wayne, which is maybe not something you should care about, but it got noticed. Not in the positive direction.
I think when that was revealed, right? I think the plan was, I don't know this, but I feel like the plan was probably to reveal both kits together. And that for whatever reason that didn't happen. And so the away kits were the ones that they had, and people have been waiting to see them, and it was just before. So I don't know that any first time away kit is very overwhelming. Because your home kit is the one you're trying to establish that brand, like you talked about. You want your home fans to see it, to get behind it. And with our first 5 matches on the road, that home kit didn't get revealed. It was there's some anticipation. Let's wait for this next one, right? So there's probably a little bit of that involved in it.
Yeah, I'd also even say with that, it's also the very first one, and I think, regardless of it's your home or away, because AC Boise even released, I think, actually, no, they released their home kit first. But usually when you release that first home kit, everybody knows that they want to buy that. That's the very first one. That's like setting the standard, regardless of it's home or away, which is why I think they probably should have released the home kit first. Probably some supplier issues or whatever happened, caused delay or whatever. But releasing usually the second thought kit, which is usually the away one, says it's just, hey, it just doesn't clash, we'll go with it. As your first kit,
you know, Right. Yeah. It didn't get maybe the results that we had hoped for. Right.
Yeah.
But again, that's the kit you have, and it's the kit you're going to play in 4 days.
Right.
Like, you had to get it out there.
Yeah, it's better
Yeah.
late than that. Hey, I'm about to say it's better than some teams who don't even announce it at all. So I give them props to that.
Right.
Yeah.
I have some teams who literally wait. Oh yeah, hey, we play in 2 hours. Here's what we're wearing today. I'm like,
Yeah.
thanks for letting me know.
And it gave us an opportunity to get together with the team and
Yeah,
season ticket
100%.
holders. So the event was phenomenal.
Oh, for sure.
That we got to attend there. So yeah. Anthony, did you have
Yeah, I was gonna say too. I look at the away kit kind of as a blank slate here. You know, we can only go up from here. So, and I did hear, you know, from somebody, there were some supplier issues, I believe, with the home kits at first. There was some slight mix up that, yeah, caused a little bit of an issue. But so after seeing Fort Wayne's, you know, home kit, what's your first opinion here? What do you think?
My initial thoughts were I'm normally not a fan of repetitive patterns. It's one of my old man gripes that I have with kits. But seeing what they did also with that cross hatching, I think added initially what I saw was some texture and some added depth to a kit, which was clearly missing in the away kit. And even if you can say if you like or dislike that checkered pattern, that repetitive pattern, seeing that there was an attempt to add some texture, that depth, a little bit more to it, spoke a lot with me. And then also that black and autumn gold is such a good combination, and the black really, you know, sets the tone, but then that autumn gold just stands out. And I think when you have colors that work together, you utilize them. I always say that with Forward Madison. You have pink, use it. You got the good colors, use it. Don't be afraid. Or even like Monterey Bay, before their messy divorce with Puma, they never used their colors. And then they did, and now it looks better. And I think for Fort Wayne, it's utilizing that brand new colors that you utilized and you spent that heart, you know, all that effort to create. Use them. They look fantastic. And that's basically what I got out of that was gold stood out, even though it was the accent color.
Yeah, you know, I mentioned earlier and talked about a couple times on the show, like I was hoping for a black kit, something with a pattern, something with a subtle texture to it, the word you used, because a black kit only goes so far, right? Like if it's all black, it's a little boring. I wear a ton of black and I love black, but it needs to have something. Black with the autumn gold is great, but the pattern, I think the texture that it has is subtle enough that you don't always see it unless you're looking for it. But if you're looking for it, it's brilliant, right? It just adds something interesting to look at.
Yeah, and that's something that we I kind of like subliminal design underneath it. And it's one of those things that from afar you may not see it, but as a kit collector, and I always tell this to everyone that we interview or like kits that we talk about, is finding the Easter eggs, finding those extra little bit of details. It could be something as simple as, see, like that kit up there for Indy 11. They just had a little red Indiana in the like bottom corner. That little tiny little patch here on the bottom. That detail's amazing. Or in this case, the intricacy of the crest, which is beautifully like that cursive just looks fantastic. But then seeing that printed and then being able to see that detail into each and every one with that cross hatch and just being able to see those details just adds to it, but without making it all about that pattern.
Sure. We talked about the colors and the kits and the crests across USL League One briefly. We just mentioned it, but in your opinion, how does this stand out in USL League One, or not stand out?
I will say it definitely. I would actually argue the autumn gold stands out most. The black doesn't, because you're already competing with AC Boise, who did it like 3 months before, 3 or 4 months before, released their black with green accent kit with some purple. So you're already not winning the all black game. And it is what it is. Black's a primarily used color by a lot of teams. And I think you're never going to win owning black. But as you pointed out, the autumn gold's a blank slate to build off of. And if they continue to use that away kit or whatever you want to utilize it, that autumn gold will 100% stand out.
Yeah. We got a comment here from Christina. Without the pattern in the background and upgraded crest, I think it would have missed the mark. So it speaks to how important details are for sure. Ryan says the AC Boise ones are nice too. They are. There's some fun kits across USL League One, and I kind of feel like a trader if I buy something different. But there are some pretty sweet kits out there.
I will say joining League One is not for the faint of heart. If you don't like, if you try not to buy other teams' kits, it's so good.
Right.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah. So I want to pass it back to one of my co-hosts for another question, but I want to get to grading the Fort Wayne kit. I know you have a kind of rubric that you use, a matrix that you use. So we'll get to that at the end of the interview. So stick around if you're watching now. At the end of this interview, we'll actually get Brett's grade on Fort Wayne FC's home kit, but we want to expand the conversation a little bit now. If one of you guys want to pick up.
Yeah. So as you look across the leagues, are you seeing any trends emerging that in the new kits? Like, you think of, like, you talked a little bit about, logos and subtly in the design, or sashes, or, brands or anything like that you're seeing across the leagues?
Yeah, there's one big theme that we've been seeing over and over and over again. It is retro vibe or simplistic with details. So you gotta look at Portland Hearts of Pine, just simple Waldo kit, over the moon. You can look at AB Alta. They had that El Clasico kit, even though it's their like third, fourth year. Can't remember. El Clasico. And you also have Naples, who just rocked that summer retirement vibe, but like they had that classy vibe to it. And you're seeing it everywhere. Richmond's leaning into it. Greenville Triumph did it last year with their throwback kit. And then you have the fallback attack kit from Sacramento Republic. Everyone wants to go retro because collars are in. I love that as a collar nerd. That is me all the way. And you're starting to see people want that simple vibe, but they want that enough detailing, as I mentioned with this Fort Wayne kit, that is kind of in there underneath it. And it's not just a simple collared kit and calling it retro. It's collared, or it has that simplistic theme, but there's a little bit more details added to it. So then you're starting to, see little nods to your city, or as Ryan points out, some floral being brought in. You're starting to see little small accents being brought into it, besides just it being a nice simplistic kit that's a little bit better.
So you mentioned a few teams specifically. Are there any that you're seeing that are just killing it, on both home and away? Or is there, if there are a couple teams we're looking for that are just, they have it down? You have any recommendations for us?
Most of them are League One teams. I'm sorry. But Richmond Kickers, they're always killing it. I'm jealous of their partnership with Hummel. Every year they create something that's just so unique. And I love it. Then I should have had this list written down in my head. But there's always Ford Madison, who loves to push buttons. Last year they had a kilt kit that's based off the Scottish Highlands, and they even had like kilt shorts. Like,
they didn't actually wear kilts.
No,
correct?
No,
okay.
They did not.
I was like, I can't imagine that.
It won't surprise me at this point. It's Ford Madison. I will never be surprised with whatever they do. And then last year they actually fully went flamingo and actually made a flamingo kit. So
I can't wait to face Forward Madison. I can't wait to have them in our stadium here. I've heard so many fun things about them and their team and their kits that I'm looking forward to that matchup.
100%.
For sure.
Yes. Yeah. Madison and Omaha, anytime they play anybody, I was jealous of when Indy 11s was playing, when we were playing in Omaha. And they're in just like this glacier ice and like thunderstruck, and we're just like, right. And I'm like, cool.
Oh man. Well, Brett, I've got some rapid fire questions here for you. Just to see where you land on some of this stuff. So your favorite US soccer kit right now, any league, any division.
Oh, it's like asking like a parent their favorite child and they can't.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. If I had to choose my favorite, it's the only 5 I've given of the year so far. It is Salem City FC's Doodle Kit.
Okay.
Okay.
Balaam
Doodle
City?
kit?
Doodle of League 2. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll have to look that one up for sure.
I'm
Most
looking it up.
overrated trend in kit design.
I actually agree with the comment down below, the retro vibe.
Yeah.
And listen, the reason why I love the Doodle Kit is it has the collar, which is what I'm always here for, but don't just always associate a collar with retro. Add some texture, have some fun. The Doodle Kit has 12 donuts thrown in somewhere in its design, its pattern. It has smokestacks. It has everything that ties
It's
to
pretty
a
sweet.
city. And it's fun. It's creative. It will get, and as someone who can somewhat be a little bit more quieter walking around, I like my clothing to be loud, but not subtle. I want it to stand out. And retro looks great on a model, looks great on you going to work. I'm wearing it at like 7 p.m. at night, cheering my team on. I don't want to look like I'm going to work. I want to be loud. I want to be proud. I want to.
That's why I don't like a collar. I can't stand a collared kit. I hope Fort Wayne, please hear me. Fort Wayne, do not do a collared kit. And Christina says she just looked it up and I would hate it. She's getting to know my my preferences.
I think it's really cool. I just looked it up. It looks really cool.
I looked it up. Only thing I don't like is the collar. I like everything else on it.
I'll have to check it out. I'll have to check it out.
Colors are divisive. That's all I'm saying. I'm a fan. That's okay. Everything else I can go with.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there would have been a next time Brett would have been on the show, but with that comment, I'm just kidding. Okay. One thing that every club gets wrong. I've been known to like ask rapid fire questions that are not rapid fire questions.
Like, it's not so.
We can come back to that one. We can come back to that one, Brett.
I got one.
Okay,
I
go
got
ahead.
one of simply just sticking to your team colors.
Okay.
It's a second kit or a third kit. Do like you do. Sorry, I just saw Christina's comment. Just like in England, your second and third kits, or even in Germany or wherever have you, they don't have to be your team colors. They just don't have to clash with the opponents. Let your home kit be your color. So in this case, Fort Wayne, the black and the autumn gold. Stick with that. And then your second kit could be white. It could be gray. It could be pink. It could be green. They're supposed to stand out. It doesn't have to form a cohesive set. And I think a lot of teams get stuck in that. Just like in the 11, one's blue, one's red. They just inverse the colors, 2 different kits. And you don't have to be stuck in that pattern.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I had a few more rapid fire, but I think we're a little past our rapid fire time here, but I appreciate your thoughtful responses to those. Let's get back to the Fort Wayne home kit and your grading system. Just in the next, 90 seconds, give us the filter you run things through. And I know you may talk about this more on your show, so we want to give a plug for that, but we'd love to hear your final grade on the Fort Wayne FC home kit.
Yeah. So as I said very earlier, it's about design and aesthetics, authenticity in design, tradition, the visual details and how it was executed, and then any innovation impact and how well each kit individually did. Without taking in sponsors and without taking in the full thing, we're just looking at the kit itself. So for design and aesthetics, I would probably give this around a 4 because it stands out. It's unique. The autumn gold, bold, and it sets itself a standard. It's not perfect, but it sets itself a standard going forward. For authenticity, I think it's somewhere between a 4 and a 3. I haven't quite decided yet because it's just a black with autumn gold. It's year 1. Maybe down the road that becomes a thing, but it's year 1, so it's between a 4 and a 3 there. So I'm going to leave with a 3 for now. When it comes to visual details, I gotta give it at least a 5. There is the detailing in the cross hatching, in the detailing, the texturing, and also it just looks good overall. There's no issues, nothing looks misprinted, nothing's misaligned. So I give that a 5. And then innovation impact, I'll give it a 4. It's the first home kit. It has definitely some impact, maybe not the most innovative out there. So when you do trying to do the math here real quick, of a 4, I think that's at a 3, a 5, and then a 4. If you sum that up, what's that? 7, 12, 16. I give it a 4 overall.
All right.
I'll take
Okay.
it.
We'll take it. We'll take it. Year 1, we'll see where it can go and see what next season's home and away kits look like, and we'll have you certainly back then. But Brett, I know you've got plans, at least tentatively, to be in Fort Wayne for the first home match, if that's possible, and then for the Indy 11 match on May 16th. So looking forward to having you up this way. And if you're looking for a place to eat, Dustin's got all kinds of recommendations. And BJ's Brewhouse may be the place.
I don't know about that one.
Well, Brad, let our audience know where they can find you. We mentioned it at the top of the show, but how do they look you up and find KitSZN and everything else that you've got your hands in?
So go ahead and first off follow the USL Show on Spotify, YouTube. That's where you see both the USL Show's content and ours. We're underneath the same umbrella on YouTube and Spotify. You can also follow KitSZN SZN on Instagram. We're very active on there. We post about new kits. We do our post about our interviews and all that stuff. Best way to keep up to date with us is on KitSZN. And also you can just follow me as well. I'd like to try to keep things up to date about my writings and my adventures, like going to New York City for the home opener where we lost, the season opener. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Brett, thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks for the time. And we will definitely be in touch and talk to you real soon.
Appreciate having me, y'all.
All right. Have a great night.
Thank you.
You as well.
All right, we are going to take a short break, and we will be right back after this.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Dead One Pest Control. If you've been looking for a local pest control service in Fort Wayne and surrounding communities, look no further than Dead One Pest Control. They work with both residential and commercial clients to get rid of all types of pests, including those dreaded bed bugs. No job is too big or small for them to handle, so you can count on their capable crew for whatever local pest control service you need. Reach out today to schedule an appointment at deadonepestcontrol.com. And remember, the only good pest is a dead one. And if you're looking for tree service of any kind, including removal, trimming, stump grinding, or landscaping, check out R&T Tree Experts. They work year-round, even through these cold winter months, so you don't have to wait for spring. Just visit their website, fill out their estimate request form, and be sure to tell them Fort Wayne Footy sent you to receive 10% off your service.
All right, we are back, and had to rearrange the our little layout there. No, it's a fun interview with Brett, and talking about the kits, the Fort Wayne FC kits. We've had our own conversations about these, and like I said, we wanted to have Brett on as the guy that knows all kits in the United States and the leagues that we're playing in. So, hey, a few quick announcements and house cleaning things before we move on with our conversation about Louisville City next week in the Prinx Tires USL Cup. The 260 soccer show we mentioned at the top of the show started 2 weeks ago. They had their second show last night. They stream live on Sundays at 9 p.m. and it's all local soccer here in Fort Wayne and surrounding areas, Northeast Indiana. The 260 area code is a large area code, and so there's a lot of soccer. There's a lot of teams. There's a lot of clubs, and I'm learning more about it. Honestly, there's leagues out there that I didn't know existed that our team is talking about and researching and getting guests on from. And so I'm really excited about what the work that they're doing there. So check out the 260 soccer show, especially if you play in one of these leagues, if you play in Fort Wayne, if you have kids that play in this area. It's a great place to find some information about your team, their competition, and just keep up with the news and the stories in the area. One of the things that I was really excited about last night is we got to talk about middle school soccer, and who else is covering middle school soccer in this area or anywhere else. It's even, you can't find scores, you can't find results, you can't find stats. And our team at the 260 Soccer Show is starting to cover that, and so I'm really excited about what they're doing there. But they did have a guest, Andrew Bigelow, MLS pro referee. He's an AR, an assistant referee, AR1, AR2. I've learned which sideline is which just from that interview. Have just a short clip I want to play, and if you're interested in the rest, bump on over to our YouTube channel, Fort Wayne Footy, if you're not already there, and you can catch that whole episode. But here's a clip from last night's episode with Andrew Bigelow.
We teased this as being on the pitch with Messi, and that wasn't just a teaser. It was like literally April 4th. You were there. Messi was there. Suarez was there. And I saw you on an ESPN clip, and like that's Andrew right there. How cool is that? And it was the NU or new stadium that had just opened. What a cool event and atmosphere that must have been.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, every stadium, we have 30 teams now in Major League Soccer. So, I mean, when it comes to every stadium is unique, every game's unique, every atmosphere has its own, they have their own routines, teams they have, but when it comes to the walkouts, no matter what stadium you're in, any of the 30 stadiums and the national anthems, and just, like I said, you're a part of something that's bigger than you, and you play a part in making it successful.
Yeah, fun interview. Did the first game in new stadium there in Miami with Messi and Suarez and company, which he's from the 260. He's a teacher, administrator, athletic director, soon to be athletic director at DeKalb High School, just north of where we all sit right now. So pretty cool guest and pretty cool interview. Check that out, guys. Let's transition. Go ahead. Yeah.
The comment during that video was pretty awesome. Thank goodness there's no fitness test for coaches. That's awesome.
Yes. Yeah. That was all part of the conversation we had with him about fitness tests and the things that they do as referees that you're like, of course they run around, whatever. And they're like, no, they like train to do this.
Yeah.
And so that was a lot of fun. Guys, let's transition a little bit here and talk about the Prinx Tire. I don't even know how you pronounce that. USL Cup game that's coming up. Fort Wayne's traveling to play Louisville City FC inside of Lynn Stadium, which we talked a little bit about last week, is the model for Ruoff Mortgage Stadium here in Fort Wayne. Ours is just a little bit cuter. Like it's a little smaller. Maybe that's not the right word. It's a little bit smaller, but it's a stadium modeled after Louisville City. So the fact that Fort Wayne, before they play their first home game in our stadium, they get to play in a bigger stadium, a bigger model of what they're going to play in here. So that's cool and unique all in and of itself. But Louisville City has been crushing it here recently. They were sitting top of the table last week when we talked, still are. Recent results since April 4th, right? 2-0, they lost to Charleston Battery. Okay, throw that one away. A 3-3 draw with Loudoun United. 2-1 win over Austin FC of Major League Soccer. They beat an MLS team in the US Open Cup, and then a 1-0 win over Sporting Club Jacksonville this last weekend. So before that, like this team has, I think they had 13 goals in 6 games or something like that. Like they're scoring a lot of goals. They're measuring up to MLS teams. If you watch the game they played against Austin, the commentators were talking that this is probably the strongest USL Championship team they've seen in recent years, compared to some others that again can't be named in Shield winning seasons, that they were ranked among the best of the best in recent years in USL Championship. Now they are a great team, and Fort Wayne FC is stepping onto the pitch with them on Saturday. Anthony, a few weeks ago we talked about this, right? We said you could buy tickets to one game in Chattanooga, or you're going to a cup game. Chattanooga's past, long gone. Like, we can't have that conversation. You still have an opportunity. If you could, are you going to this cup game, and why? Has your answer changed?
I'm definitely going here, Brian. I mean, here's the thing. If from what I've heard about Louisville City, I mean, look, if they're gonna find a way to win. Okay. That, even if you're letting them, possession, hey, I want to possess the ball, they're going to find a way with set pieces. I had a little birdie in my ear. Tell me a little something about them. And I want to go see it. I mean, if that's obviously what the best is in USL, like, let's go see what the top looks like. And let's go. So I'm going to that one all day, Brian. That would be the one.
All right. Sure. And are you hoping to see, I know we talked, like, Fort Wayne's still trying to find their identity on the field. They've gone from a 5-back or 3-back system to a 4-back system that they played in Chattanooga, to sit back, to camp out a little bit and counter Chattanooga, beat them at their own game. Still trying to find that identity. What do you expect to see in Louisville, Dustin, from this team? One that's still trying to, let's sort it out. Let's play another game with 4-back and let's just settle into this and see. Or a team that says, this is a tournament that we have an opportunity to play with some things and try some things out, and we're going to do that. We're going to go for it. What are you looking for from Fort Wayne in this next match?
I'm looking for a lot of offense. The guys that we talked to at the event this last week, the primary thing that they talked about was we had so many chances, we're going to make them at one point in time. I think Thomas even said, he was like, if a different day, those three goals would have gone in,
Right.
So I see a lot of hunger. I see a lot of passion in relationship to that. So I'm hoping for a lot more offense. And I think we're still known for being pretty strong out of the back. And so that doesn't change. You don't go into a game like this and completely change your entire identity. But I do expect and hope that we see a lot more shots on goal, that connect and actually make it in. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. And Lou City has a stout defense, right? They're not giving up a lot of goals. They had a 3-3 draw with Loudoun United here a few weeks ago. That was probably, I think, the most goals they've given up in a game this season. It's just, they're a tough team in the back. And I watched them play against Austin in that US Open Cup. And like, Austin had a few moments where they looked like the better team. And that was only because they were pushing everything they had because they were desperate to get a goal, right? And sometimes momentum changes when that happens. But from the opening whistle to the final whistle, Lou City looked like the better team on that field. And so it's a little scary for me to think Fort Wayne FC, who's still trying to find their identity, to go out on that pitch to see what they can do. But look, you've got nothing to lose, right?
Yeah.
No one's expecting anything from a year one USL League One team against a USL Championship team who, by the way, is sitting top of the table, scoring a ton of goals and not giving many up. I think Fort Wayne FC goes for it, and just let's see what happens. Now, we got to remember, right? Lou City is also playing in the US Open Cup. That's how they beat the Major League Soccer team. That's how they beat Austin. So they have regular season, they've got US Open Cup championship competition, and they have USL Cup competition. So they've had a really congested schedule here in April. And so maybe playing on some tired legs. We'll see. Maybe there's some rotation that's happening. I'm not sure. We see their starters. And yet, talking to one of Fort Wayne FC veterans who's played in USL League One, who's played in the Jägermeister Cup that it used to be called, right? Assured me that USL Championship teams in their first game usually roll out their starting squads just to get that first result and start on the front foot. So I wouldn't be surprised if they rolled out their top team, their starters. But and shoot, let's see how Fort Wayne competes. Like, we've got players, we've got competitors, and as you said, Dustin, they're hungry. And let's see what they can do. I'm sure Coach Avery, Coach Barker will roll in there with a very specific game plan, knowing Lou City and how they play, and be ready for that. So looking forward to talking about that result, whatever it is, next week, hoping for that win. in that first round of the Prinx Tires USL Cup. Tune in next week for that conversation.
Can I jump in real quick, Brian?
Yeah. Jump in.
Will either of you be disappointed if they don't like throw the squad at us? You know, like I get it. I get what they're at, you know, where, hey, they have a lot going on, but I mean, I want to see their starters. I want to see, even if it's for a half, if it's for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, like, you know, I want to see how we look against a legit squad. You know, would either of you be disappointed if, you know, we didn't get the real team?
I would, yes. I would be disappointed if they didn't put their, like, at least their good players out at the beginning. I think if you go up 2-3-0 and you keep those players in and you win 7-0, like no. But I'd like to see but I'd like to see how we start, and we start the games well. And so I'd love to see how we start against a stacked team that is dominating, just to see what we can do, what our capabilities are.
Yeah. Nobody ever wants to walk away from a game saying we beat the B squad.
Yeah.
Right. You want to beat the best, regardless of if they're a league higher than you or not. I remember a game last year in State Cup that my son's team played Indy 11, right? And it was their academy team. And when they showed up to the field, we were told, like, oh, from a player that used to play for them, that this isn't their academy. This is their MLS next team that they brought to State Cup to play. And so our guys were like, all right, we get to play. This isn't even who we were expecting. We get to play the top team. Came away with a 0-0 draw from that game. And they were like, we can do this. Right. It was so fun. So in that sense, yeah, like you want to play the best. They weren't expecting to. I think Fort Wayne FC wants to see what they can do against the best of the league ahead of them, right? And the best of USL Championship. If promotion to ever becomes a thing, like they're working towards, you've got to be able to compete with these teams moving up. So to be even on the field with one of the best team in the league right now, and to play, to keep it close, to play to a draw, I would be happy with that. Like that would be awesome.
Yeah.
So good question, Anthony. Yeah. And we'll find out soon enough on Saturday what team Lou City is going to roll out against Fort Wayne FC. Hey, if you're going to the game, would love to hear from you here in the chat. I know a few of you are thinking about going or making the drive down there. I believe there's also a watch party at J.K. O'Donnell's for that game. So if you can't make the trip and you want to hook up with Three Rivers Regiment and folks from Fort Wayne FC team, not the players, they're going to be gone, but the front office, a lot of the guys and women that work there often come to these watch parties. It's a good time. Check it out, J.K. O'Donnell's this Saturday for that matchup. Looking around the league here in USL League One, Fort Wayne didn't play this weekend, but Richmond Kickers gets their first win, 2-1 over Union Omaha. That's a big win for them. Omaha's a good team. Knox beats Charlotte Independence. AC Boise, guys, with a 4-0 win over Westchester SC. That's painful. But I imagine we're going to see some of those games, and hopefully we're going to win some of those games. New York Cosmos yesterday in a 2-2 draw with Forward Madison, and we heard a lot about from Brett earlier, and their kits, they're fun to watch and fun to see on the field anyway. And Portland Hearts of Pine with a 1-1 draw against FC Naples, two pretty strong teams there too. So I got to watch some of that game. It was a little sloppy weather-wise and stuff up there in Portland, but got to watch some of that game. That was a lot of fun. So it's an uphill battle for Fort Wayne. We moved up the table like 3 or 4 spots with the win last weekend, but again, not having a game this weekend, we're still sitting there stagnant. Waiting for that first home matchup against Charlotte Independence back in league play. And so we're looking forward to that. Yeah, guys, as we wrap up the show, sorry, I was distracted by a comment here from Paul. Boise destroyed Westchester for second home game, another 7,000 plus crowd. We have capacity to beat that. On May 2nd with our home opener. We have capacity in that stadium to beat the 7,000 7,800, 7,600, 7,100, whatever they are. Remember, it was like 4 different numbers they reported that first game.
Yeah.
We have capacity to beat all of those. So Fort Wayne, come out, support the squad May 2nd in that home opener. All right, gentlemen, it's about that time. Just turned over 10 o'clock on my computer screen here. It's time for our final thoughts. Dustin, kick us off.
I guess my final thoughts are I'm just excited to see how the stadium's coming along. I'm excited to host a team in the stadium on May 2nd when we thought, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We're not going to get there. I'm excited for us to get there. I'm also looking forward to the watch party. I've been to 3 of the watch parties. Highly recommend going to them. It's an amazing atmosphere. Anthony, you were there at the last one. I know. It's fun to be together with the fans that are watching our team from afar on ESPN. Like, who would have ever thought we'd be able to watch our team from Fort Wayne, Indiana on ESPN?
Right.
And so I'm looking forward to both of those things. I think we have a lot coming up in the next few weeks. It's going to be bombarding our podcasts, and so I'm excited for it.
Yep. And rumor has it that if you go to a watch party, you're almost guaranteed to see Dustin do something really awkward.
Yeah, like a high five, but like Paul and I may have to reenact that if we go, and so that everyone
I don't think that ever needs to be reenacted. Ever. Anthony, final thoughts.
Yeah, to real quick piggyback on Dustin. Yeah, watch party was awesome.
That would be awkward at the watch party. Piggyback with Dustin.
We actually had that planned for halftime. That was actually our halftime.
You just ruined it, Brian. You just
come on. That was a little. Come on, that was a teaser. That was a teaser. No, final thoughts. I mean, look, the kits are great. I'm happy that we have the opportunity to actually wear them at home now. And just got to give a big shout out to one of my buddies, Nick Morgan from Pulled and Press. He's the one that did these. He was trying to give me a little bit of insider info as much as he could. I got this cleared from him, so I'm not throwing him under the bus. I saw Dustin's face right there. But no, he's done awesome. And yeah, he did a great job on these. So I just want to make sure I'm letting him know. Like, yeah, great work.
Yep. Yeah. Shout out to him and his work on these kits. Finally pressed when I pulled it off the rack there. Yeah, all good there. Guys, I guess my final thought, I go back to the kit reveal, the event itself, regardless of the kits, regardless of what they looked like. There were great events, the away kit reveal, the home kit reveal, just an opportunity for fans, season ticket holders, media personnel to meet the team, to meet the squad, a great group of guys. We got a chance to interview a few of them each time, present our man of the match tokens to the first 4 award recipients of the Fort Wayne Footy Man of the Match. You've seen those interviews on social media. If you haven't, go visit us on Instagram and check those out. They were fun interviews with some fun guys, and even Lillian was a little timid because of his English. He said, "I don't know, my English isn't great," but just he gave us the time to sit down and talk for a few minutes. And so for that reason alone, I love those events because you get to interact with the players that you see from a distance that we've only seen from afar on TV so far. And so it's to have that connection for the team itself, to know like, hey, when we finally get here, there's at least 400 people that are going to be there, which is more than we've seen in a couple stadiums away, right? They've been reported more, but I think there's only been 400 people in those stadiums. So for them to know that, and for those people to know not just their names and the jersey numbers, but to actually know them as human beings, as people up close and personal, kudos to Fort Wayne FC and those events that they put on and given us the ability to be a part of those. So anyway, guys, that does it for this episode of Fort Wayne Footy. We're looking forward to the upcoming match that we just got done talking about in the USL Cup against Louisville City this Saturday. And we will see you next Monday night.